Oh, on there. All right, here we go. Welcome to another Fact or Fiction Friday. I am the guinea pig, Christopher McKell. He is the Professor Jason Parsons. We have a good episode this week, but before we talk about protein, some of the younger generation call him protein. For those of you that don't know, Jason, the professor, and myself co-authored The Over Easy Life. It's a story about how I lost 45 pounds in 3 months eating a traditional American breakfast. Talked about a lot of the things that we go over in these videos, a lot of the principles and how I applied them to manage what I did. So if you want to get on Amazon, good read, get some good feedback, some good reviews. Don't be scared to get it. With that being said, we're going to continue on to talk about is too much protein, or that's not really quite a statement, so too much protein is bad for your kidneys and causes osteoporosis. Do you know what osteoporosis is?
It's a big word, that's what it is.
We'll find out. Jason, talk to us here.
I like you said protein. That's what I protein. How can it be bad for you? It's good for the guns, man.
Yeah.
Come on. If you have been watching our videos, and if you haven't, shame on you. If this is your first one, welcome. Go back, watch the other ones. You could have actually seen Christopher McKell disappearing in front of your very eyes over the course of this. So that book we just put out actually, not only does it go along with what he's actually done with himself in a very short period of time, losing 45 plus pounds, you can see it happen through the course of our videos. It's kind of cool. So speaking about protein, in our other videos, whenever we have one of these Fact or Fiction Fridays, it says too much or too little. I like to refer back to that language. Too much of anything is probably not a good idea. An interesting caveat when it comes to protein is we really haven't found what too much protein is quite yet, at least from a clinical study standpoint. We'll talk about more about that in a minute, but let's start from the beginning. So what is a protein? In our diet, we have 3 basic macronutrients. Macro just means big pieces of your nutrition. So macronutrients are protein, carbohydrates, and fats. We've done videos on fats and carbohydrates ad nauseum, lots of those. Today we're talking about protein. So what is protein? Well, protein is the name of a big complex molecule that's made up of little things called amino acids. There are 20 different amino acids that we have floating around in our body, different combinations. 9 of those amino acids are essential. What that means, essential, is we have to get it from our food. We have to consume it from the outside because we can't make it ourselves. The other 11 non-essential amino acids, your body can actually make from other ones. You can convert and change and sort of mix around. Think of like Legos, right? Combining Legos into structures. That's essentially what these amino acids are that make up proteins that make up most of your body. Interesting enough, this little visual that Chris put right here, this is actual charting of a molecule of an amino acid called glutamine, one of the most abundant amino acids in your body. We just want to put a little visual representation up here. If you go on Google and you put in amino acids, you're like, what are these amino acids they're talking about? You'll probably see some of these structures like this, and that's what that is. So I'm not sure what the smiley face is, but we'll go ahead and go with it.
That's teeth eating. You gotta eat those 9.
He's
Eat those 9.
He's eating his
9
protein.
that you gotta
He's eating his
consume.
protein with his teeth closed. That's weird. Who eats like that?
No problem.
Whatever. So these proteins that are made of amino acids, what do they do for your body? Well, they construct a lot of things. Your muscles, I think that's probably the most commonly known and understood thing that proteins compose your muscles. But your bones have a lot of protein inside them. Your hair and your nails, interesting enough, are made up completely of proteins, keratin protein, right? Your internal organs, your skin, your blood vessels, your blood cells, most of your structures in your body are made up of these building blocks, these Legos, if you will, known as amino acids, which compose the proteins. So you are made up of proteins. Now, the interesting thing is every day we do stuff. We go to work, we go out and we play, we do things with our kids, we scuff ourselves on things. I lift up heavy things with my hands and my skin gets all messed up. Get these calluses, little pieces flake off. If I had hair, it would fall out regularly, like most people. We're constantly...
Mine doesn't.
Lucky you. Nobody likes to show off, Chris. Jeez. We're constantly cycling through protein because it's being sloughed off of us in the form of skin cells. Cells are dying, skin is coming off, whatever it might be. Muscles are being broken down. If you happen to exercise and you have a fit and active lifestyle, you're breaking down your muscles. So we're constantly breaking down proteins and excreting them through our urine. That means we need to have new proteins going in. Think of it like a building that you have to upkeep, your home. If you're a homeowner or you're a car owner, you gotta sometimes replace parts as they wear out and they break down. So the air conditioner goes out, you gotta get a new one. Your tires get worn down in your car, you gotta get some new ones.
We're tuning our engines.
Essentially, at the very least, keeping the thing running right. You want to tune it, make it even better? Wow.
And in Florida, making sure your AC is running is good. So I recommend you service that, at least every 6 months. If you're not,
up the creek. Vitally important.
do it before summertime.
It's 300% humidity outside right now. Man.
That's when they all die.
Man, it's
all
bad.
ACs.
If I had hair, it would be curly as heck. Woof. Anywho, so that's what the proteins make up your body. and where they come from your dietary consumption of foods. And typically when you look at proteins, you can get it from all kinds of places. It's not just animal proteins like meats, fishes, eggs, dairy products. A lot of people think those are just protein sources, but beans and rice and a lot of plant-based material has protein as well. So it comes from a lot of dietary sources. It's not just one place.
I know that, so you're talking about proteins, basically the amino acids. There's all these supplements out there people are taking protein supplements for more protein, but they're also taking amino acids. I don't know, it's a BCAA one.
Yeah, it's branched chain amino acids.
So there's different things that are supplements. So if you're getting a protein, why would you also do supplements of amino acids, or vice versa? You're doing amino acids, why are you doing protein?
So great question right there. Branched chain amino acids, BCAAs, you may have seen this, a very common supplement out there. A lot of marketing around this that's probably not necessarily the case. The branched chain amino acids, there's three of them. There's leucine, isoleucine, and valine. Those three amino acids, which three of these over here, three of the 20 amino acids we talk about.
Essential or non-essential side?
So they're non-essential. So these branched chain amino acids, your body is probably already getting from regular protein, whole protein sources, whether it be from a piece of steak, or if you drink milk or have dairy products or have whey protein, the protein powder, right? Did you get that? It's already got those amino acids in it, those specific ones, those branched chain amino acids. It's kind of redundant to have at least the right food going in and or a whole protein source to then also throw in branched chain amino acids. They're not magical. If you are somehow deficient in those, then it'll be a good thing, but it's real hard to be deficient in our society. If you live in the Gobi Desert, maybe that'd be a challenge for you and you had no other food other than just a coconut or something, maybe that's the place. But for most people, especially here in America, it's a very rare occasion we even need to have a supplementation of branched chain amino acids. And that's going to make a lot of branched chain amino acid manufacturers and sellers out there really upset, but that's just the truth. Sorry. Drink some whey protein if you want. Throw a whey protein shake, have a whole egg, eat some steak, have some fish, you'll be fine. Those have complete amino acid profiles and you should be good. Yeah. So, the recommended daily allowance, and this is what the Food and Drug Administration puts out as a standard for how much you need to have bare minimum. The recommended daily allowance, or should I say minimum amount of protein that they want us to get in, is 0.8 grams per kilogram. So understand this, that 0.8 grams per kilogram, and I know we're in America, so we use weird measurables, pounds and stuff like that. So this number here, when you convert it, the average between you and I, about 225, 230, you're about 200 pounds, somewhere around this range. We average about, let's say 220, that's 100 kilograms to make an easy number place. So we're about 100 kilograms each. That means we need to have 80 grams of protein per day just to not fall apart. That's what the recommended daily allowance means. This is the minimum you need to not go into a deficit, to not be in a bad place where you're falling apart. Now, based on your lifestyle, if you're active, you're physically doing stuff out there, you work in construction, you play with your kids all the time, you put a lot of wear and tear on this thing, you're gonna need more protein than that just to sustain to stay normal. If you're real sedentary and you don't move that much, you might be able to get away with this low end number of 0.8 grams per kilogram per day of protein intake. That's not most people. Most people put wear and tear on their bodies. They do stuff. They are out and having a lifestyle, doing things, interacting with the planet. They need to have more. Heaven forbid you're looking to build some larger muscles, you're a bodybuilder, you're a strength athlete, you do CrossFit, you go out and take these HIIT interval classes like you do, you're putting a lot of wear and tear on your body. That means you're gonna definitely need a large amount of protein. Nice thing is, when we talked, the first thing here said too much protein, we don't really know that there's such thing as too much protein. There's really no upper limit that's been observed yet that it becomes a problem consuming it, because as you can see here, there's actual studies, clinical studies that have shown up to as much as 6 grams per kilogram. Right, so again, for us, we're about 100 kilograms, right? And you take that and multiply that by 6, so 6 times 100 is 600 grams of protein per day. That's a lot. I might consume maybe 200 to 300 per day on average. I'm a fairly large fellow that's very active, so I try and get the right amount in. That's more than double what I would take in.
So that's 7 to 8 times the
7 to 8 times the recommended, which you'll see on the side of food labels, the RDA on there.
You got these cool little business partners bought a lot of beef jerky. You got jerky coming out the bunghole here at the office, but
literally.
So this, and we've already eaten some of this. I mean, this thing was full of beef jerky. This has, what is this, 14 grams per serving, which was 16 servings. Would that come out to about?
So close to 200 grams. Yeah, about 200 grams. So imagine 3 of those. Was that a pound? Yeah, 16 ounces. That's a full pound of dehydrated beef.
Beef jerky. 3 of these every day.
Every single day. That's a lot of steak, man.
It would still not cause any.
It's not a problem.
Issues.
It's not an issue.
You'd have to eat 100 beef sticks. 100 of these a day.
I take that challenge up. I could do that. One time, I probably should do it in the bathroom if I do it.
That's a lot of free protein.
That is a lot of protein. So, but the point here is, there's actually been studies that show up to 6 grams per kilogram. it's going to be a real tough challenge for you to get too much protein. Unless you're like the world's strongest man competitor that's 7 foot tall, like the Mountain, right?
No, he just broke a record.
He did. He lifted an entire house, I think. I'm not sure. It's quite ridiculous. That dude's huge and really strong. Amazing creature. Amazing.
One more season of Game of Thrones.
So, we've talked about proteins, we've talked about amino acids, we've talked about the amounts that your body may or may not take in. Again, the scale here on which you can adjust based on your lifestyle and your needs, you're safe. You don't have to worry about it. All this concern about messing with your kidneys or causing osteoporosis, let's get to the meat and potatoes here and talk about that. Your kidneys, this pretty little picture, these little beans here that Chris drew, they're inside your body. Their job is to filter things out of the bloodstream that you don't need, that's too excess. That's what you urinate out. That's what kidneys do. So if you have too much, in this case, protein, amino acids floating around, yes, your kidneys will say, hey, there's too much in here, we don't need this. Your body will signal it and you'll urinate it out. Now, that doesn't mean that that's causing a problem with your kidneys. The reason this became a concern in the olden days and the fables floating around that say kidneys are damaged by proteins because doctors have recommended to people to have kidney issues, kidney failure, kidney degradation, some kind of disease, whatever it is. Something's wrong with their kidneys already. The doctor says, hey, don't have too much protein because it makes your kidneys have to work more. That doesn't mean the protein caused the problem. It just means, hey, if you've already got a broken leg, don't go jogging on it. Not that jogging causes broken legs. Same thing for your kidneys. The protein didn't cause the issue, but hey, if they're kind of worn out and broken or whatever the issue might be, don't keep putting more work on them by having excess protein that your kidneys need to filter and get out of you. That's all that is.
Probably want to lay out the alcohol too at that point.
Yeah, certainly. I would recommend not doing a bunch of bad things that put extra work on the kidneys. Again, not because it's causing a problem, it's just, hey, it's a repercussion. So, let's ignore that one there, that's not the problem. Same thing if you look at your bones in your body. If you remember back here, we talked about this. Your bones have a lot of protein in them. So, interesting enough, the big concern is that, hey, if I consume a lot of proteins, I start to urinate out a lot of calcium. Calcium being one of the constituents of bone, proteins, other such things, minerals in there. Your bones are structures, lattice works, again, made of those amino acid building blocks plus some other minerals to make these long, hard structures in your bones in different places. In the event that you're urinating out some additional calcium because you had a larger amount of protein, it doesn't mean you're urinating out the calcium that was in your bones. The reality is, if anything, a larger intake of protein moving towards that end of the spectrum down there actually helps to bolster your bones and make them stronger. There are other factors at play with your bone density so that you don't start to move towards osteoporosis. Your age is a part of that, but really with the age, it's about activity. The more activity you have, the more pressure you put on your bones because you're picking things up and moving around and putting stresses on them. Your body responds to those stresses by making the bones more dense. It holds on to the minerals instead of letting your kidneys urinate them out. It says, hey, he's using his bones. They're getting stress placed on him. He's picking stuff up. He's running around, doing whatever. Make those bones more dense in case he does that again tomorrow. Your body responds and adapts. If you're not putting pressure on your bones because they're sitting around as you choose to get older and you're not doing anything, yeah, they're going to demineralize. That happens. But your steak that you're consuming is not causing that to happen. It's really not. Here's the reality. Increasing your protein intake could possibly have a lot of positive value for your kidneys, for your bones, and over your overall health. As we've talked about with Chris in multiple videos before, increasing protein can help with what kinds of things as far as eating?
Well, you have thermic effect of food.
Thermic effect of food, big fancy word that basically means eating protein takes more work inside your body to break that down so you don't use all the calories in your body. It gets broken down so that. So thermic effect of food, that's one.
And the other would be satiety.
Satiety, big fancy word that means you're not as hungry. You eat some proteins like that jerky we just talked about. We like having that as a snack here at the office when we're working because it sort of makes us feel fuller or longer so we're not hungry again in a couple minutes.
I'm getting a lot better at saying these fancy words.
I know. I jam it on you. We do these videos. I keep making you say them. It's going to happen. At some point, you'll be doing a video and I'll be sitting over there eating beef jerky. It'll be awesome.
Probably not. They won't believe me talking about this bullshit.
But you've got the artistic skills. I mean, this is a teamwork thing we're doing here. Anyway, so consuming more protein, if it's right for your body, if it's right for your goals, you don't have a pre-existing condition with your kidneys and you want to start to reduce your hunger by increasing satiety through protein content, and you want to make it so that you don't absorb all the calories from a food stuff by changing from carbohydrates maybe to more protein so that thermic effect of food helps you out, and other positive benefits we've talked about in the past, hey, you're safe. There's a big, huge spectrum you can go across here in how much protein you can consume per grams per kilogram per day and not have an issue. Definitely not with these two things that are claimed up here. Not a problem. It's not going to mess you up. More importantly, it could be a tool you could use to help you move towards your goals. If you have a fat loss goal or even a muscle gain goal, you can shift those things around like that. So it's at your discretion, but knowing a little bit more from this information could help you make the right decision.
Cool. Did you talk about this little diagram?
Ultimately, and I think you've probably seen this a million times if you watch these videos, Calories in versus calories out is a big dictator of fat loss and weight loss, which is a #1 goal we see for fitness and health-based people out there. So protein intake, if we start to increase from the standard average American who takes in about 10 to 15% of their calories from protein, that's what this is down here. It's about 10% of your daily calories from protein. Is that what that 8.8 grams per kilogram equals to? If we start to slide that up to about 15, 20, 25% of your calories coming from protein, it tends to make it so that you have less total calories going in. Satiety, thermic effect of food, and other reasons versus your calorie out. You start to shift that balance, you're gonna start losing weight. You start losing weight, it's not putting as much pressure on your kidneys from high blood pressure. Lots of positive benefits start to happen by eating more protein.
Sorry to point that out. He kind of redundantly said what he said right before that. And he just didn't point the diagram.
It's okay, it's okay.
What can you do?
I'd rather say it more times than not enough times.
I got it.
I'm fine with that.
I got you. So it looks like there hasn't been proof of too much of anything. We haven't reached that max level.
You're not gonna eat too much protein.
You're not gonna eat too much protein because doing that on a consistent basis, eating 3 bags of this stuff a day.
It's too much work, man.
I mean, if you try it one day, I'd be surprised. But do that consistently is probably impossible. So let's not worry about it. Protein's good for you. It'll help your bones, help your kidneys.
Yeah.
It tastes damn good.
Yeah. Some of us, you can actually grow hair with it. It's not me, but other people. Yeah.
Until next week, I am the guinea pig. He's the professor. Do me a favor, go get our book.